don't know if you have heard about it from others. But one girl said that I am boring. I was very disappointed. Oh my God, how is it boring? Why? How? She says, I already know what you are telling. Therefore, from that time onwards, I have decided, all right, let me find out what do you know first. And then let us tell something which you perhaps want to know or you must know. Okay? Go ahead. Tell me, what do you know about plant physiology? Whoever wants to start. Go ahead, Ankita.
Yes, sir. So, plant physiology basically gives an idea about the various processes that occur in plants, its interaction with the environment, how it regulates itself in the environment, its behavior and all.
Very good. Very good. Anybody wants to add, Sahadev? Hey. Gavi. Gavi Siddesh.
Sir.
ಹೇಳು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳು. Ankita said something. You add further. You agree, you disagree. If you agree,
Sir,
what you agree?
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ.
ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು?
ಸರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್.
Oh wow, very good. So that is what you want to know? Very good. Gavi Siddesh, I will also want to tell you one small thing better. Remember this. When I joined BSc AG like you, I did not know English. All my classmates spoke in English. I could not speak in English at all. So the choice was, I learn English to talk to them, or you kill all of them who speaks English. What do you want to do?
ಸರ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು.
ಈಗ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು. That is what I used to do. Chandana.
Sir, I will try to learn English.
Learn. See, I'm not telling you if you say something wrong, that is when you learn, okay? Remember this. Okay, Chandana, you wrote something, tell me. Chandana typed something. Why don't you tell? Chandana.
Yes, sir.
ನೀನ್ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ ಇವಾಗ.
It's a study of growth and development of crops, sir, or plants.
Very good. So, you said some of the other kind of things. Chemical interaction is what your classmate said. And then another person said something. Ankita said what? Ankita said so many things. It is the interaction, so environment.
The life processes activities, sir.
Very good. Now you put all of them together. Who is more correct now? Others, can you tell who is more correct? Is it Chandana or Ankita or Gavi or Sahadeva who doesn't talk? Others. Arey yaar. You know, the most boring thing about teaching an empty class is, it's a disaster. Yeah, Gagan, go ahead, tell me. Very good. Whatever you have typed is so very beautiful. Very correct. Go ahead, talk, tell. Gagan. ಓಹ್, ನೀನ್ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
Where is Gagan?
Sir.
ಮಾತಾಡೋ ರಾಜ.
Sir, how the plant lives in its molecular levels?
Very good. What do you think? I mean, that is fantastic. What you said is so very correct. I mean, all of you have said very, very nice things. But let us go into the depths of whatever you said, and then we build up this curriculum, all right? That is the correct way to do things. That is why I want you to participate in interactions. It's boring otherwise for everybody, correct? ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗೂ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೂ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್? Okay, so let us try. Gagan, what do you mean that it's living at the molecular level? What do you mean?
Sir, to know how plant grows and how plant reproduces in cellular and molecular levels.
Very
Going
good.
to its basic sense.
Fantastic. What really do you mean cellular and molecular?
Sir, so that is, I can't explain more, sir.
Doesn't matter. Try maadu Raja. What did you mean when you say, I mean, we always know these words, okay? Don't worry about being correct or wrong. Makle, remember this. I will tell you this, all of you remember this. I have 20, I don't know how many number of times I have taught this course. Therefore, I know a little more than you, but that doesn't mean you are dumb people, okay? You already are good. I want you to be better than all of us. That's my wish, that's my prayer. And that is my aim. And I will kill you if you don't become like that. That is another thing. That is the pressure I have. Okay? So, Gagan, don't even hesitate. Hello, Maga. Go ahead, tell me.
ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಫುಡ್ ಕೊಡೋದಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು ಸರ್, ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಫಿಸಿಯಾಲಜಿ.
Oh, very good. So, ಇವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋ.
Sir, to know how plant gives food to its
Very
basic
good.
levels.
Very
And
good. Yeah,
and to just know how life goes on.
very good. So, anybody else wants to add to this, whatever they said?
Sir, plant physiology is a branch of agriculture science which deals with the functions and mechanisms of plant parts.
Oh, fantastic. Very good. Very good. So, I mean, there are two ways of answering this, Makle. One is when you are alone like this, you can also open your Google and then find out and tell me. You can also tell me from whatever you know. But what is most important, please remember, is that you have to participate. You have to participate in the process of learning. Then the learning becomes more exciting and interesting, and therefore it will remain with you for a long time. That is all what I am trying to tell you. Okay. So now, if you guys say that plants are growing and the plants have to develop and plants have to generate the next generation of seeds, therefore they reproduce, and then there's a lot of developmental processes that go on, and we look at it at the plant, entire plant. But what Gagan says is, I want to know it at the cellular level, at the molecular level. Excellent. What is it is so perfectly correct. We will have to have three different levels of this understanding. You look at the whole plant level, and then you put look them at the let us say the organ level, and then you go into that cellular level. And if you wanted to know, explain all these mechanisms that takes place, you have to go to the molecular level. So very good. So when I look at the whole plant, what is it? For example, if I give you, this is something like in plant physiology, you have a lot of imagination. You should imagine this. Did you imagine a small plant grows a little big, then a bigger plant, and then it will go into a tree, or a plant remains as a small plant when you're talking about a crop plant like rice, wheat, or whatever? Which plant do you know very, very well? We have seen very closely. Most of you from agriculture families, you must have seen your farms, yes? Indranil?
Sir?
Yeah. No, I told you something. It is actually not very correct. I already told you something. Are you listening to me?
Sir, I didn't listen carefully, sir.
You did not listen carefully, beta. Why not?
Sorry, sir.
No. I am not asking you to apologize. No need. Now you listen to me. I'll answer me. Which plant have you seen very closely? Are you from an agriculture family?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Which crop, which plant, or what have you seen?
Paddy, sir.
Paddy, very good. How does it grow? Do you have any idea?
No, not exactly, sir.
What is it? Crudely. No, don't worry. That's what I told you already. I today know more than you, not because I'm very, very good. That is because you are young. When you grow my age, you should know more than what I know today. That is the objective. All right, Indranil?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, beta.
Sir, by the supply of nutrients and everything, sir.
What is everything?
Like sunlight, water,
Very good.
fertilizers,
Uh-huh.
manure, etc. sir.
Very good. So now you are giving them some kind. Basically, what you are all telling is, if a plant, if any organism has to grow, that organism should get some input. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you can actually classify and tell me what is the difference between autotrophs and heterotrophs.
Sir, autotrophs, they make their own food, sir.
Mhm.
And heterotrophs feed on other things.
Other autotrophs, correct? Or
Yes, sir.
even the other heterotrophs also. Very good. So you would have studied all these things. Autotrophic is to eat, not to make. To make a little more strongly the kind of say, statement that we are making, you have to now tell that the autotrophs, they feed themselves. That means they prepare food themselves. So one of you asked, it's very curious for me to understand how the plants make their food. Know that they make food, but how do they make food? That's the question that we have. So, therefore, we need to have all these mechanisms understood very clearly. Now, there are two questions that we have. One is how the plants grow. For growth, what do they require? Do they require water? Do they require sunlight? Do they require nutrients? Do they require anything else? Do they manufacture their own vitamins? How do they make their proteins? How do they make their enzymes? How do they make their amino acids? All those kind of things are something that happens inside the plant. Now, as agriculture graduates that you will be soon, why do you want to know this? Can anybody tell me? Guess. Make a guess and don't be. See, in my classes, remember this very deeply in your heart. You remember, I'm not telling this for the sake of telling. In my classes, do not hesitate to make a mistake. There is a lot of difference between making a mistake. It happens when I was trying to say something, I make a mistake. But if you deliberately make a mistake, you call muritine, you have to glass muritine, those things, that's different. Okay. So when we are like little children, let's do. Go ahead, Sadeh. Very good.
Sir, to produce a hybrid seeds and enzymatic plant any protein like a golden rice, sir, rich in vitamin A, sir.
Wow.
Production.
Very good. What do you know about golden rice, Sadeh? Very good.
Sir, this is in 12th, sir.
Huh?
Vitamin A rich protein is there, sir.
I see. How does it happen? You know?
Sir, by scientifically production.
Wow. Anybody knows what is golden rice? Who made it first? Do you know?
Sir, don't know, sir.
Yeah. His name was Ingo Porticus. Let me do one thing. Let me share some sheet with you.
We also can help the many farmers by producing artificial plants like
Can you see an empty sheet?
yes, sir.
Exactly.
So Sadev said there is something called as golden rice. What is it? ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಬರೀತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ?
ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೈಜ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Yeah. I will do that. Wait a minute. Now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he said about golden rice and he said it is vitamin A, right? And this was made by a person called Ingo Porticus. This he was in Switzerland. Okay. I mean, now there are 2-3 questions that you guys are yourself telling. Oh, wonderful. You guys are very good. No doubt about it. Now, what you are trying to say is a plant versus an animal. What is the difference between the two of them, beta? Go ahead, anybody.
Plants are mostly autotrophic, sir, and they are stagnant. Animals are heterotrophic and they are motile, sir.
Fantastic. Okay. So if the plants are, don't say stagnant, they say sessile. Okay. Now, so what?
So they cannot move from one place to another place. So they have to. So they have to take their own food, sir, at that place itself.
Very good. They have to eat there only, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what else? Ankita said something when she was telling in the beginning. What was that?
Sir, to me, you are asking, sir.
Yeah, you said something.
I
about-
said, yes, sir, about life processes. I said that they have the different life process. They have their cell differences, molecular level differences. So they respond differently to the environment, sir. So advanced animals have
wait. Very good, very good. Listen to me. Very good. What is that is so correct. Now, if the plants are sessile, stuck, if he said stagnant, okay, I understood what he means to say. If they are stagnant or sessile, stuck to one place, what is it that they should develop to respond to an environment? And how does an animal respond to an environment?
the defense system, they should develop more
Such
because
as
they have to be at one place, sir. So they are more vulnerable to the various types of attacks, sir. Predators or any other things, sir. So they have to develop a complex system of defense at the place where they are. But animals can move and protect themselves, sir. That's the thing.
complex processes. Can you name?
So, like any alkaloids or any chemicals they can prepare, they can have morphological variations or physiological differences. Means any chemicals they can produce or any different things. So,
you know what? I'm simply writing whatever you are saying. You said chemical that they develop. Gavi, do you agree with this? What did you say? What did you say?
It's a chemical interaction.
So, what do you mean chemical interactions? And what did she say? That chemicals are produced by the plant. Oh, that is because they are not mobile. What do you think?
Sir, once again, sir.
Once again, Iga, you said chemical interactions are important.
Yes, sir.
Why do you want that chemical interactions in the plants?
Sir, to produce food, sir, and energy.
Okay. So, in your word, the chemical that you mean is the food that we eat. Okay. So, we don't call them chemicals. Huh?
Energy, to produce energy.
I see. Okay. Now you see one more word has come. Okay. Anyone else? There are a lot of people in the class, but then
So primary and secondary metabolites, sir.
Wow, very good. What do you mean by that, beta?
Sir, secondary metabolites are usually produced, but they are not that much important for the plant growth, like alkaloids and the other carotenoids, anthocyanin, etc. Sir, primary metabolites takes part in the growth and development of the particular plant, sir.
Okay, so very good. So if the secondary metabolites are not important, what do you say? They're not important for what? Growth?
Yes, sir. They perform other mechanisms like cardioglycerides, like in milky that lantana things of plants. Sir.
Very good. Fantastic. See, these boys are good. I have always known this. You guys are very good. Let's do one thing. I mean, I'm sure there can be a large number of these kind of things that you guys can keep on telling. Very good. You know that means you already know a lot of these things. What I am trying to do is let us understand how the plants grow, develop, and respond to a environmental stimulus. Okay? Okay. How does it happen? These are the questions that we need to do. Then you also said, I want to look at the entire plant level. Then I want to look at the organ level. And then I will look at what is called as the cellular level. And then I will actually go to the level of the molecule. So I study the molecular. Now, do you understand what they are? So plant level, you understand. When you talk about the plant level, we talk about the canopy of the plant. That means the whole thing. As a child, you must have written some pictures, diagram. Let me try. I don't know if I can do that. Let me try. I mean, I love blackboard, but this is crazy, but what to do? Did you write a tree when you were young? Did you write a tree like this?
Yes, sir.
Then, I mean, I'm trying to write a tree. How the hell do I do this here? And you wrote a tree like this, or this is not this crazy. And then you put a canopy all around it. Did you? Wow, not bad. Huh? Did you do this, Makle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you did. Then you must have put some birds also in the diagram that you wrote, something like this.
Sir, backside sunlight, sir.
Oh, acha. So you made what is that? You made some hill, and then you made a hill like this, and then you kept a rising sun there, like this.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Madidra ivella?
Yes, sir. Madi.
Very good. Janamari nivella. So you all have all the children play the same thing. Now what I am saying is, you are looking at the canopy, the entire plant. I mean, this is a tree, it's okay. You can look at the similar kind of things for a plant, as a crop plant. Then when we look at this, you have a leaf, you have the stem, you have the root, you have so many different kind of things, which I mean is the organ level. But then what is important for us would be to now look at what happens if I study all these things at the cellular level. So you know what the cell is made of. You have a cell wall. Array, something happened there. And then this cell wall, inside the cell wall, you have a very thin cell membrane. Correct? And what is the major difference between a plant cell and an animal cell?
Sir, pectin.
Okay, that is the secondary wall. Okay, so there is a cell wall. This is a cell wall.
Cellulose, sir.
Black in color, and I'll make it thicker just to make you feel like that. And then the thin cell wall, cell membrane inside. And then they also said that there is something called as a vacuole in the middle. And what about the vacuole? They said there is a single large vacuole in the plant cell. Correct? And then you have large number of these organelles. Now, how does this cell, plant cell, differ from that of an animal cell?
Sir, plant cell possess
Okay, go ahead. One after the other. Very good.
and animal cell does not.
Possess what?
Does not possess cell, external cell wall, sir.
Okay. So cell wall in animal, let us say we'll put it like this. In plant and animal. Okay. Now cell wall present in the plant cell and absent in the animal cell. Correct? Correct or not? Hello.
Yes, sir.
And then what else? Okay. I'm trying to find out the differences.
Then
What about the cell membrane? Cell membrane? Present or absent?
Present, sir.
Present. Animal cell?
Present, sir.
ವಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇವಾಗ ಹಿಂಗಾದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್
The
ಅಬೌಟ್
cell membrane in plant cell is called as plasma membrane.
okay in the case of animal? Okay, nucleus present or absent?
Present, sir.
Okay, what about the animal cells?
Present, sir.
Present. It has to be present. Okay. So what about the vacuole?
It is present in both.
But then how can it be different?
It's very large in plants.
Different, sir.
Very high, large number of vacuoles, sir.
I see. In plant, one large vacuole. Okay. In animal, many tiny vacuoles. Correct?
Yes, sir.
You agree?
Yes, sir.
Very good. What about chloroplast?
Present in plants.
Present in plant? Present also in animals?
No, sir. Absent.
Okay. Mitochondria?
Present in both.
Okay, very good. So now you know that there are so many things. That means you can already know that there is something that the plant has, which is the cell wall is very different. Then the vacuole is very different. Mitochondria is okay, but then the chloroplasts are very different between them. That means these few things that we are showing between the plant cell and the animal cell should distinguish the plant from the animal behavior or animal physiology, basically, right? So what we are trying to do is simply that. What we are trying to do, we will have to understand now how it happens, how do these things function, and what is more important seems to be is, how is it that if these guys are stuck to one place, how do they respond to these stimuli, whether it is at the plant level or at the leaf level or the cellular level or at the molecular level. Now, what do you mean by the molecular level? One of the most important thing that you have in both of them is the nucleus, isn't it? That is the most important part of every life forms. Now, when you talk about the nucleus, then this nucleus must have something inside. Now, what does the nucleus contain? What does the nucleus contain? Inside the nucleus, you have something like?
Chromatin network.
Okay, so chromosomes, very good. Chromatin network is also correct, chromosomes. On these chromosomes, what do you have?
Genes.
Okay, DNA. And the DNA carries the genes that you're talking about. All right, very good. So therefore, when you now look at the genes, what do they do? Genes produce a protein, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, these proteins will form some kind of a function. And these functions determine the organ. These organs determine the organism. So you are actually looking from this side now. From the, let us say, you looked at something at the organism, there's a plant level, there's the organ level, and then you went to the molecular level, and then went to the gene. And the same thing is done from the gene to the protein, and then to the organism is another part of the whole thing. So if you know one way, you can always go back home. You know, it is always like that. How many of you have searched for an address and you go there and it takes a long time, but when you come back, it takes much lesser time. Did you realize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now that is the objective that we have. From the agriculture science, okay, we are trying to now do, why should we study agriculture? Why did you join agriculture university? All of you are brilliant guys. Your minimum marks that you have in PUC is more than 96%, isn't it? Or
No,
more
sir.
than 90%. Alva? So, which means you are already better than me. When I was your age, I did not score that much marks, I say. That's what I mean. So, when you look at the agriculture science, we have a reason why we are studying this physiology or genetics or molecular biology or any damn thing that you study in this 4 years. There is a reason. We will come back to that. But why did you join Agriculture University? Gautami? Hello? Okay.
Sir,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was interested, sir. I was interested, sir.
Oh, why? Good. Correct. I mean, any of the answer that you give, I will tell you one more thing. I'll promise you today. This is the first time we are meeting online, but then we have actually not met at all. We never see each other in these damn online things. Okay? But still, this is the first time we are listening to each other. I will tell you. I will never ever in my life tell you that you are wrong. Okay? So you are interested.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Correct. Well, I agree. What was interesting?
Sir, there were diverse kinds of subjects I looked at, sir.
So that is interesting to
I
you.
thought that I thought that I can learn many things. I can learn diverse issues.
Very good.
So I chose, sir.
Very good. So what was your experience already after one semester or 1 year?
Yes, sir.
You made a mistake?
No, sir. Since most of the year we spent online, I could not experience many things.
Absolutely.
I felt, sir.
So please pray and behave. What's that? COVID appropriate behavior is important. Don't go near anybody whom you don't know. Do not go out without mask. Ensure that, see, basically what they are saying is, remember this virus that is causing all this mess that you are going through. See, Gautami is not experiencing why she came here. Is simply because of the bloody fact that the virus is determining our fate, isn't it? Unfortunately, people who graduated during the COVID period will not be eligible for jobs. That is very disastrous. This is for no fault of yours, isn't it? So therefore, we need to do something very different than what we were otherwise doing in the online things. Now, if a virus goes from one organism to another, or one human to another human, which is a host for this bloody COVID virus, then it will have a lot of chances to mutate. That's the reason why it can become virulent. If you did not allow that to spread the way it is spreading now in India, then the chances that it can mutate will become very minimal. Then it will die. We can buy not the medicine, but just by our behavior. So please ensure that you do not, violate any of these safety issues. That's the reason why we always pray you be safe, be responsible about the whole situation. All right. And then I'll tell you, Gautami, you never made a mistake, but I'll tell you why. When I joined this agriculture university, I did not know that there was an agriculture college at all. We never knew. When we passed out of 12th standard, we did not know a damn thing about it. Nowadays, every person knows about the agriculture university. In my time, it was not like that. But when I joined here, I thought I made a huge mistake in my life. Why did I come here? But today, if I look back and see, that was the greatest thing that I did, because when you study agriculture, from the university, I'm not saying that horticulture is not good and all that, but agricultural science, you will very, very rightly said, you will have a wide different kind of things that you will study. But remember this, from the agriculture point of view, what is most important is crop productivity or yield. That's all what we are interested in. Because there are a lot of people who have to be fed, we have to eat. Therefore, what would be very, very exciting would be when you say that you wanted to look at diversity, diverse things that you have. The moment you have diversity, there is one thing that is great. That greatness that you think about is that the moment you have something diverse, what does it mean? So you came here with an intention that you wanted to learn diverse things. The moment there is diverse, what does it mean? What does it mean, I want you to think about it differently. We will talk in physiology from the next class, but what do you mean by diversity? What does it mean?
Sir, I thought that here there is scope for learning humanities little bit. And in science too, we can learn entomology, pathology, many such issues, sir. We can learn from
Don't worry. I know.
micro to macro.
Very good. What I am saying is, beta, the moment you see there is diversity, it means that there is something bigger than all the big things, correct? Because there is diversity. There's something smaller than the smallest thing, bigger than the biggest thing, wider than the widest thing, narrower than the narrowest thing. Everything can exist the moment you talk about diversity. What does that mean, to me? It means if there is somebody who is better than me, there's a chance, there's a scope, there's a possibility that I also can become better. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So therefore, the moment you talk about, that's one of the most beautiful things that you talk about in agricultural science, especially in agricultural science, is the diversity. The moment diversity is available, you can achieve what we talk about crop yield. One of the things that has happened is, when we look at how people have done so much in agricultural science, we generally use this kind of a graph for all our explanations. Okay, this is the x and y axis. On the x-axis, you have you will have the year of, let us say, from 1950. If I say 1950 is here and 2020 here or 2021 here, now what has happened to the yield on the y-axis if I take it? Okay. Now, if you see, if I were to add this plot here, I'm telling you this from the scientific data that I have seen, it increased like this. But then in the last 10 years, it is sort of reaching a plateau. It's not such a flat thing. This is a freehand written thing. So in the 1970s or something, when we had the Green Revolution, there was a big increase in this, but it has remained like this. Okay? In agricultural science, you will get the diversity. And what people believe is that if I have to live, if I have to continue the happiness that we all have today, this has to increase something like that. That is the problem. How are we to achieve this gap? This is the most important question that bothers everybody in agricultural science. How is it that this gap can be filled? This is what we have today, and this is what we should have had today. Do you know, when we were students in the 1980s, this graph was not like this. This graph was perhaps something like, I'll add this graph here. It was something like this. It was trying to go slowly like this. We never knew that it would reach this kind of a thing earlier. But this gap has been filled, isn't it? Now, scientists have done so much well. This is the present day situation. It was then. Then I was thinking, oh, we will all die. Like how much I am saying is 2021 is like that. It should have been like this. But if it goes on like this to 2050, then people will not be, will not have sufficient and all that. This is wrong, because when Gomati said that she was interested in the diversity, and Gagan said that he is interested in something else, and someone is interested in chemical signaling, so many different things if you look at. Now, when you look at the diversity, suggests that there is so much of variations that we have. The moment you have variability, there is a possibility that you can actually improve the traits, improve the yield. That's the reason why people are looking towards, how do I explain yield? So the moment you start explaining any process, you will have to need physiology. So that is how the functions, that is what you said. I wanted to learn in plant physiology course how the plants function. And therefore, we started at the, look at the whole plant, look at the organ, and look at the molecular levels for all these things. The molecular could be organic molecule, or it can be submolecular, such as go down to the genetic level or the molecular biological levels. So when you do these kind of explanations, there can be a lot of lovely things that can be held. Therefore, before we go and explain what really do we mean by explaining the physiology, we need to understand What is yield? What is it? It can be the grains that we eat. It can be the oil that we want. It can be the proteins that we want. It can be the fiber that we want. It can be any sort of inputs that we need is something that is yield from the agriculture. Agriculture forms the basis of all sorts of industry. Except in India, in Kannada, they say Aramba. You know? How many of you know agriculture is called Aramba? Okay. So this Aramba is something beginning. But in all other developed countries, agriculture is considered as an industry. This is called the primary industry. So if this primary industry has to cater, and if we have to be well fed, it is only through yield. And of course, you guys want better quality. Therefore, you're looking at the protein and the nourishment that we have, nutrient that we get from the plant sources, and so on and so forth. So over time, what we will understand is how plants make all these things. Okay? And what factors factors constrain this? Is it genetic, or it can be it is genetic, or it's environmental? What is it that is coming in the way of the plants expressing their potential? That's what I'm saying. Your potentials are very, very high, Makle, but you have some or the other force that is troubling you from expressing it. It could be me, or it could be anybody in the entire place. Do you agree with that? If I say, suppose I curb you, what answer you gave, stupid person, you will never be able to open your mouth again. That's not what I am going to do at all, promise. Okay? So we will study all these things over time. And when do we have the next class? Tomorrow? Friday. Oi, ella bagla kondu. Gopal Lal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when is the next class? The next class, we'll start doing all these studies. We'll check how each of these things change. For that, systematically, we should go to what is the cell, how does the cell, what does it contain, how does it behave, what does it do, how do the processes occur, which organelle that we have in a cell, and then how does it go into the organ level and into the whole canopy level. So this is what we need to do in the 6 or whatever, 4.5, 5 months time that we have together. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you will have to promise me one thing, Makle. You will have to promise that you will interact. When I call some name, you should be quick enough to unmute and then answer. All right? I understand that in villages, if you are there, if your signals are not very strong, there can be some situation that can happen. But I would generally love the blackboard writing. There's one method that I will try to see next time when we meet. I will project this camera to the board, and then we'll write it on the board, and let's see if you can see it. I do that for PhD students, therefore it should work for you that way. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Do you want to add anything or say anything? Anybody? Aishwarya?
No, sir.
Why not? Why not? You don't have anything to say. Okay. All right. Hello.
Sir.
Okay. So, all right. I will close this. I mean, this is this particular link I give you is my own link. So, this is not be the one on next class. When is the next class, Gavi? Friday, na?
Sir, ನಾಳೆ ಒಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್. Sorry, sir. Friday, Saturday ಇದೆ ಸರ್. Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys had your lunch already, or?
ಸರ್ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಸರ್, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಯಾಕೆ 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ?
ಸರ್ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರು ಮನೇಲಿ
ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಊಟ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರಂತ ನಿಂಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು?
ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಲೇಟ್.
Okay. Gavi, Saturday, our classes between 10 and 11, huh?
Sir, 10 and
what is there afterwards?
Sir, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ sir.
Okay. Suppose we had, because I have seminars on Saturday, our PG seminars. Can we have the class at 2 o'clock on Saturday?
Sir, okay sir.
No, you can discuss with everybody.
ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು
ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ.
ಸರಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾಕಂತೆ? ಶ್ರೇಯಸ್, AMH 0085. Okay. Who is Keen Victor? What's your name? Oh, your name itself is Keen Victor. Very good. Okay. Now, I want to have the class on Saturday between 2 and 3. What extent? You have a class also?
Sir.
You are the extension teacher to take between 9 and 10. Who is the teacher?
Sir, Ashok Dodmani, sir.
Ashok Dodmani. Okay, I'll tell him. I can also tell him here if he is there. Okay, and he can take instead of my time. What is that theory class?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಥಿಯರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.
Yes. So I'll ask that person to take the class in the time where I have, because I have seminar on that day. That's the only reason. We have PG seminars. Okay.
Okay.
So we will see that. Friday we will meet again. All right.
Okay, sir.
Friday is very first. Okay. I have another meeting now in another 15 minutes. So. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Makle. So believe me, remember that I will ask you questions next time when we come. Before you come, you have to prepare, read, and come. And as the classes go on, we will build upon that. So I will expect you to ask me questions also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.